Hi, I'm Pastor Chris Gravison of Clearlake Church of the Nazarene, and this is my video report. Now, the year of 2017 was very much a transitional year for Clearlake. It was really interesting the way God did it, because it was one of those times where we had the opportunity to look back and see what God was doing, because He wasn't telling us, He was simply leading us where He wanted us to go. We started off 2017 with a warming center for the homeless. There was a group in the community that worked with the homeless on a regular basis that asked all the churches to come together and provide a warming center one night a week for each church. Well, we jumped at that chance, and the congregation responded with generosity in so many ways. And every Friday night for both January and February, we hosted a warming center. It was a wonderful time. We did not get the response from the homeless or from the other churches that we'd really hoped. The beauty of it was that even though it didn't work out the way we wanted it to, God honored that obedience and blessed us with enthusiasm and with encouragement. We had a lot of blessings with the warming center, but I think the biggest blessing came after the warming center. Even our teens got into it, that they wanted to help too. And there was a lot of food left over after the warming center, not non-perishable foods that we could give away. So these kids came together on 2 different Sunday evenings. The first Sunday they bagged all the food. They even went out and got some dog food and put it in gallon bags for the homeless who have pets and stuff like that they need that help too. And the following Sunday, we gathered together with 2 ladies who worked with the homeless, and they were our introduction and our guides. And these kids went out in a fearless love of God and blessed these homeless people who are so downtrodden and are kicked and discarded in so many ways. And they had these teenagers and these young kids come in and bless them. And it was an amazing thing. And if that wasn't enough, one of our kids, Josiah, wonderful little guy, love him to death. Well, he's not little anymore, he's grown. But he was with a group that was helping and walking up and down our main street on Lakeshore. And they happened on a young couple, obviously homeless, and in the conversation, they gave him the food, and in the conversation, the young man said that he could use some shoes. Well, Josiah didn't hesitate. He ran to his mom and asked, "Can I give this guy my shoes? Because he needs them, and he's my same size." And she said, "Yeah." So he went back, and he gave him these expensive, relatively almost brand new tennis shoes. And before the whole thing was over, Josiah had given this young man his socks too. It's amazing how God works. And this couple was so blessed. And then we prayed with them and asked the Lord to keep them in their care. And we moved on, and there was not a dry eye in that entire group, because God worked through this one young man. Now, the real cool thing was, like I said, God honored the obedience of that warming center with Josiah, with so many other things. And we had our regular events that we have every year that have become very much a part of our culture. Not the least of which is our annual car show and shine that we have every June. On the 3rd Saturday of every June, we welcomed over almost 30 cars that came in, classic cars that come in for the car show, and over 250 people came. And it's one of our major outreaches to the community. That was wonderful. We also have our annual yard sale. We raise money for our kids every year to go to camp with this huge yard sale. The kids pitch in, everybody pitches in. And it's, again, an outreach to the community to welcome them and say, "Hey, here we are. We're here. Let's be part of our group." What really was wonderful was, as the year progressed, we saw more opportunities that the Lord was providing to not reinvent the wheel, not create our own ministry, but for us, a small church of 40 to 45 people, to plug into existing organizations. We were the first church to ever fix dinner for our local volunteer fire department on their monthly meeting. It amazed me that in 75 years, no one had ever fixed dinner for these men and women who put their lives and their work on the line for us in such a real way. We also, during the sulfur fire, during the repopulation and the recovery, we had the opportunity that we went down to the station. Several of our people went down to the station and were handing out supplies and cleanup supplies and bottled water and donated food to these victims who had lost everything. We had so many opportunities to minister, so many opportunities to pray and to just let people cry and deal with what had happened to them. It was a wonderful time. Two of our youth participated. They led Operation Christmas Child for us, and we collected 22 shoe boxes to send overseas. My favorite thing that we did was we had 13. We have 40 to 45 people on Sunday morning, but 13 people showed up on Christmas Day to fix Christmas dinner and serve Christmas dinner at the local senior center to people who don't have families, who don't have the money to have a nice dinner. And we showed up and we just blessed other people. You see, our purpose statement for our church is sharing the knowledge, power, and love of Jesus. And what we realized is that's what God was giving us the opportunity to do. We just didn't have to reinvent the wheel. We didn't have to create our own ministry. With our small church, God gave us opportunity after opportunity to plug into existing organizations, to help with the fire department, to help with the senior center, to help with the homeless. It was a wonderful time. And we get to look back and see that God was creating and God was transitioning us into a missional church. Now, we have no idea what God is transitioning us in 2018. We've already had even more opportunities to be a blessing and to reach out to the community. But I can't wait to see what God will do, because God is a mighty God, and I praise Him.